how to open the company in UAE.
The requirements are not very complicated to set up a company in UAE.
I think we should start with differentiation between mainland and free zone.
Free zones and mainland, and there was a huge difference between them.
And what's the difference in the charges? I assume mainland license is more expensive, right?
This is actually a misconception because sometimes mainland could be cheaper than the free zone.
Hi guys, good afternoon. Welcome to the Top Broker podcast. I'm Katerina. With over 12 years of the experience in Dubai real estate market, I've created a strong network of professionals across various fields: lawyers, legal consultants, notary public, mortgage brokers, interior designers, and many more. Whether you're looking to obtain the golden visa, to open the company in UAE, or resolve the legal issues, reach me out and I'll connect you with the best expert in the market, someone who I'm personally work with and trust. And today I have a guest, Miraziz, who is the CEO and founder of POA.ae. Welcome to the podcast, Miraziz. Please introduce yourself and give us a little brief about your company.
Thank you, Katerina, for having me today. And as you mentioned, my name is Miraziz. I'm a corporate lawyer from 2010 practicing in Dubai. And over the past years, I have gained experience and started my own business as well. So I've launched two companies, and one is POA.ae, as you mentioned, and the other one is called Corplex, which specializes in corporate legal services. So we basically assist clients to establish business in Dubai or in other Emirates, and also we help them with their ongoing legal requirements, including like drafting documents, accounting, tax advisory. So yeah, basically this is what we do. And I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So today our topic is relocating the business and setting up the company in UAE. Mm-hmm. So let's dive into details how to open the company in UAE. What are the requirements?
Yeah, so the requirements are not very complicated to set up a company in UAE. However, comparing to other countries, it could be a little different. So here, first step is to get an initial approval in any jurisdiction, let's say, because UAE has many different jurisdictions. There is mainland, there are free zones, there are offshore jurisdictions within the UAE itself. So in all cases, the first step is starts with an initial approval, reserving a trade name. And if the activity is regulated, for example, if it is financial services or if it is, real estate, or if it is legal services, let's say, they are regulated by external authorities. And within that, during the registration process, this external approval also has to be obtained. And then the office has to be rented. If the company doesn't require an office, then there are options to get like a
virtual offices
or flexi desk or flexi offices. Then the company will be established, and after that the license will be issued. So yeah, this is basically the process. In terms of documentation, basic documentation, if the shareholder is an individual, they would require passport copy, clear passport copy. And if he has visited UAE before, like a copy of the passport page where the UAE entry stamp exists.
This is like sort of client profile, yeah? Client checking profile.
Yeah, exactly. So the requirements are minimum.
Okay. I think we should start with differentiation between mainland and free zone. Mm-hmm. What is the main difference? And give us a little bit more about both.
Yeah, sure. So the initially, historically, the UAE has had free zones and mainland, and there was a huge difference between them, because on the mainland you could set up a company only with a local partner, historically. But this has changed over the past few years. Now, even on the mainland, you can set up a company with 100% ownership as a foreigner, and you don't have to have a local partner. So this was a key difference between Freezone and mainland before.
How about in terms of the activities?
In terms of activities, Freezone, of course, they are more for international business or for trading business, because the free zones are located, let's say, next to the airport or next to the seaport. And also, of course, the free zone concept in Dubai has changed for the past years, because initially they were port-based or airport-based free zones. But then later, different free zones came to the market with a different concept, like they specialize in certain industry.
Now we have a Maidan free zone.
There is a Maidan free zone. There is, let's say, DIFC, which specialize in financial services. There is Dubai Healthcare City, which specialize in healthcare services. There is DMCC, which specialize in commodities. And there is Dubai Internet City, which focus on internet, software, business, you know.
Wow,
there
that's
is Media
amazing.
City, which is for media business.
So basically, for client to understand which license suitable for him the best, he needs to first we should first know what kind of business he is in, and then advise accordingly to his needs. Either it's a mainland or free zone,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. That's very important in Dubai, to understand your requirements and choose the right option from the beginning, because there is a big challenge when you come to set up a business in Dubai. You will find different information from different sources, and which is normal, because each free zone and mainland, they have their own rules and regulations. So when you are reading some let's say article or some information on the website, you might be reading about one particular free zone or a mainland, which can be suitable or cannot be suitable in your particular case. That's why it's very important to understand and choose the right option. Like in our practice, we see a lot of mistakes. People, they choose one package. They find online some very cheap package for setting up a business, but they don't consider whether it's going to be suitable for them or no. So they just go for it. And later they find out that for their business, this particular jurisdiction or particular free zone or that activity is not suitable. So that's why it's very important to know from the beginning and to choose the right option from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. How about the main advantages and disadvantages for the mainland and for the free zone?
So let's start from the mainland. Mainland, of course, the territorial coverage of mainland is huge. So you can set up a company in let's say in the mainland, and then you can move your office flexibly. You know, if you like one area, but later you have to shift to a different area. With the same company, you can shift to a different area. So it gives flexibility. Second advantage, of course, mainland is very, I mean, it is actually mandatory to set up a company to do a local business. So if you want to do a trading in the local market, or if you want to open a shop in some Dubai mall, let's say,
Restaurant.
A restaurant, you have to have a mainland company. You cannot have a free zone company and then operate on the mainland. So if you're a free zone company, you have to operate within the free zone area.
Or overseas, right?
Or overseas, yes. But your physical location, like the office, your office has to be within the same free zone where you establish. These are the advantages of mainland. For the free zone, of course, the tax benefits. But also it's not like if you have a free zone company, you don't pay tax. There are certain criteria. You need to have substance, and your income has to be mostly from outside. You shouldn't get income from the local business, and etc. So there are certain criteria. If the business meets those criteria, they can then be tax-free. And also another benefit for the free zone is, like as I mentioned, free zones, they specialize in certain areas. Like if you are in a commodities business or a gold trading business, then you would go for a DMCC free zone, which promote this business basically. Or if you are, let's say, in IT business, you would go for Dubai Internet City, which promote this sector. And in that, let's say, free zone, you will find many other international companies, big brands already established. So these are the advantages of the free zone.
Okay, perfect. And what's the difference in the charges? I assume mainland license is more expensive, right?
This is actually a misconception, because sometimes mainland could be cheaper than the free zone. It all depends depends on your business model. Like if you go for a free zone thinking that license fee is cheaper, but you may pay more for the office rent, or you may pay more for hiring employees. Whereas in mainland you have the flexibility and the charges for hiring people are less. And of course, there are many free zones with different charges. Like it depends which free zone you're.
From free zone to free zone as
Yes,
well.
yes,
Depends
yes.
on your business.
Exactly, yeah. And also which free zone you're comparing. Like let's say if you compare the IFC with the mainland, the IFC much more expensive than mainland.
Okay.
If you compare, let's say, Meydan free zone or Ifza free zone with the mainland, then yes, maybe free zone would be cheaper than the mainland, So it all depends your business model and which free zone you're comparing.
Mirazis, I have another question. If there is a three partner in the business, how they can regulate relationship between each other?
So if there are three partners, the main document, assuming if it's an LLC company,
Yeah.
then there is of course, in any LLC company, there must be a memorandum of association, which is usually generated or provided by the government while you register the company. Which can be customized, of course, according to the needs of the partners. But the main document that regulates the relationship between the partners is a memorandum of association. And of course, there is also law, which is commercial companies law, and then also each free zone, they have their own companies regulations, which regulate the relationship between the partners. So yeah, I mean, the main document is a memorandum of association. We see a lot of mistake, again, from the business partners or investors. They make separate agreement on the side, thinking that this is a document that will regulate their relationship. But if this document contradicts with the memorandum of association, that will not be valid. So the main document is a memorandum of association.
So everything should be mentioned, the shares, percentage, and
how they want to distribute their profit, losses, how they're contributing to the business. Everything has to be.
Also, what's happened in case business gets sold or someone wants to exit, everything should be mentioned there, right?
Usually, yeah. Usually in the memorandum, these processes are mentioned, like transfer of shares, how the company will be managed, the profit and loss distribution, and etc. Usually, when people set up a business, they just follow the standard template without customizing it.
But and this is the main mistake. Yes. This should be very detailed.
Exactly. They have to sit and agree, and they have to reflect this, let's say, agreement or conditions between them in the memorandum. This is the best option. If they make a side agreement, let's say, separate agreement, then this side agreement should not contradict to the memorandum. It has to be the same. Let's say in the memorandum, one partner, let's say, owns 20% shares in the company. But if they have a side agreement where he owns 50%, for example, there is a contradiction. So then he can claim only 20% if there is a dispute. So he should not rely on the side agreement. It should be in the memorandum of association.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mirazis, my next question is, what kind of business structure is available in UAE?
Business structures, again, there are mainland and free zone, and in each jurisdiction there are different types of companies. So if we speak about mainland, in mainland you can do a business through sole proprietorship or sole establishment. Another type, which is a very common type of company, is the LLC, limited liability company. And also there is partnerships, and there is joint stock companies, private, public. But mostly for expats doing regular business, they would go for an LLC company because it gives a limited liability protection comparing to the sole establishment, whereas there is no limited liability protection. So which means if a business owner or if a business has some liabilities in front of third parties, and if it's a sole establishment, they can claim from the personal assets of the owner. When it's a limited liability, then the personal assets of the owners protected, because it will be only recovered from the business's assets. It will not go to the personal assets, which is a crucial difference between sole establishment and the LLC. And of course, in the sole establishment, there can be only one owner, while in limited liability, there can be up to 50 partners. So from 1 to 50 partners, basically, yeah. And in free zones, of course, there are also their own business structures. They call it FZE, FZCO, FZLLC, FZLLE, and I mean, in all cases, free zone companies are limited liability. Whatever they're called, but they're limited liability. Yeah. Yeah.
Mirazis, there is a minimum capital requirements in different business types.
Yes. So again, on the mainland, it starts from 100,000 dirhams. In free zones, most of the free zones, they require minimum 50,000 dirham capital, which is not required to deposit before starting the business. So it's basically once the company is established, then the company can, the shareholders can deposit the share capital. From the government side, they don't regulate it, but of course from the accounting perspective, they have to basically put the share capital after forming the company, basically. Yeah.
Okay, great. And my next question is about relocating business to Dubai. So if someone already have established business in their home country and they want to relocate it to UAE, what is the process for this?
Okay, so when we speak about relocation, it means registering a new company.
So it's all the same process?
All the same process, yes. So you cannot bring the existing business just without losing the legal structure, just move to Dubai, So it's you need to close down in the jurisdiction where you're moving out, and you need to set up a new company here, get work permit or employment residency for the employees. So yeah, it's basically setting up a new company.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So let's say you set up your company. Now you need to open the bank account, the corporate bank account for your company.
Yeah.
What's the process? What's requirements?
Yeah, so this is a very crucial topic, actually, bank account, corporate bank account, because many businesses, they, of course, set up a company and they want to have a bank account. And they need to think about bank account in advance, even before starting a company.
That's absolutely true, because
Yes.
this is more challenging. It's quite easy to open the company, but it's quite challenging to get the bank account due to different reasons, KYC or due to some sanction. I know certain nationalities cannot get the bank account.
Yes, exactly. That's right. And also you need to choose a right type of company based on your profile. Like if you are a high-risk person or coming from a country which is sanctioned or which is considered as high risk, and if your business is also high risk, let's say gold trading or some financial services or blockchain, if it is considered as high risk, then you need at least to go for the jurisdiction, mainland or a particular free zone, which is not high risk. Because also from the bank perspective, they categorize certain free zones are high risk. Mainland is low risk. So you need to choose the right, so that you will have better chance to open a bank account. So coming back to your first question, opening a bank account is very challenging. But of course, it depends on the profile of the person. The key requirement of the bank is source of fund. How this person who's setting up a company earned his income or generating his income. And make sure that they onboard the right person, they will ask for bank statements to see this person is earning legitimate income on regular basis, whether it's a salary or dividends or investments, etc. They want to see the bank statements. Of course, this is for high-risk clients. For low-risk, for regular businesses, banks, they don't ask for statements. But for high-risk profile customers or high-risk businesses, they will ask for bank statements. And second, the person, of course, should not be blacklisted or sanctioned, and also the person has to have clear banking history to be able to open a bank account. And another very important point is the nationality, of course, because certain nationalities are already sanctioned. So for them, it will not be, let's say,
so
easy
what
to
is
open
the
a bank account.
solution? So for example, we do have, let's name those nationalities. It's Iran, Iraq, Russia was at certain point. Now I think the process got a little bit easier for Russians to open the bank account. But still, so if what if the person from those countries, from this nationality, wants to make a business here and open the bank account, what could be the solutions for them?
The solution, they must be absolutely transparent about their profile and provide documentation proving that their business is legitimate and they have been generating their income through legitimate sources. If they can provide bank statements showing that they have been generating their income from legitimate sources, then they have a chance to open.
Okay. How about if they get someone in the partnership with them who is not from this nationality? Can this help the process for
Yeah, to some
opening
extent, yes. To some extent, it can give some comfort to the banks that there is also another partner which is not sanctioned, let's say, or who's coming from non-sanctioned country, So the UAE, in order to strengthen or let's say to improve its international reputation, they have introduced a lot of laws and regulations in the field of anti-money laundering and terrorism, combating terrorism financing. And of course, this has changed the way how business is done in UAE comparing to the old days, let's say. Now to open a company, for example, or open a bank account, you would face this anti-money laundering regulations. This asking for source of funds, source of income. This is all because of the anti-money laundering regulations, because the banks, they have this obligation to follow. And also there are businesses which are called designated non-financial business and professions, which include lawyers, notaries, real estate agents, who should also follow anti-money laundering regulations.
Yeah, because all those professions which you mentioned dealing with large amounts of money.
Yes.
And for us, it's also very important to follow
Anti-money laundering.
anti-money laundering compliances.
Yes.
And we should, as a real estate professional, I know for each and every client, we submit a KYC
Yes.
form. Where is the client got this money and
Yes,
so on so.
yes. So yeah, these professions basically they deal with high-risk customers sometimes, and as you mentioned, with large amount of money coming to the country. So that's why they have obligation to conduct customer due diligence before starting any business relationship, which includes also knowing the UBOs of the companies, or if you're dealing with individuals, you need to make sure that the person has legitimate source of income and he's not hiding anything, or the money is not from illegal sources, you know.
Yeah.
And these professions, they have obligation to report to the authorities if they notice any suspicious transaction. So this is part of the anti-money laundering regulations.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Mirazis, and any last advice for the people who is looking to set up their business in UAE?
Yeah, one thing is don't rush. Make proper research from the beginning. Understand the differences between different jurisdictions, and speak with an advisor and make the right decision from the beginning. Because in our practice, there are tons of cases we come across on daily basis. People say, oh, actually my business is supposed to be on the mainland, but by mistake we established in the free zone. Or vice versa, they say, oh, actually it seems that it's better for us to be in the free zone, but by mistake we established on the mainland. And this mistake is going to be costly, because changing the business is not just changing the address. Here in UAE, if you're changing a business, let's say from free zone to mainland, you need to close the free zone and then open a new company in mainland and move all the employees.
Actually, I forgot to ask you, and what are the fees for closing the business? And what is the process?
Yeah, so closing the business, it is actually like, it differs from free zone to free zone and on the mainland. So if we speak about closing a mainland LLC company, let's say, which is the most commonly used company type, first of all, there should be a liquidator appointed to make a liquidation report. And also the company has to close all the bank accounts, utilities, everything, and terminate all the employees, cancel their visas, clear everything in this government systems, which can be costly. If we speak roughly for a normal company, it can cost around 15,000 dirhams to close the company. Yeah.
Then I have a next question. Can this license be transferred to someone to avoid all these closing fees?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a transfer of shares, if there is any party who is interested to take over the business, yes, why not? It can be transferred easily to a different person. Yeah.
Okay, great. Merizit, thank you so much. It was very insightful session. Guys, if you have any questions, please comment, and we will be more than happy to reply to all your questions. And thank you very much for today, and see you in my next video.